All right, we're going to do a quick little breakdown of some very big artists' visuals. Now, when you're an artist this big, you have visual people, obviously. You have a label is helping with this. They have, artists that are designing these things for the artists on the label. So usually you have some resources when you're this big because you're touring and you got to focus on a lot of stuff. But when you're first starting out, you don't have these. So I want to shed light on what is going on with these visuals on a deeper level, because if you don't know production, it's going to look like this is magic. Like there's a lot of things that you have to worry about, and there really isn't. You just have to kind of give it a little bit of creative direction, and then from there, learn as you go. So let me break down some of my favorites. I'm going to go over Liquid Stranger. I'm going to go over Slander. I'm going to do a immersive music video. I'm going to use Dr. Fresch as an example, and then Jaws back-to-back sudden death. So these are all headliners. Doesn't really matter the genre. Everybody does this. Everyone's going to have different visuals, obviously. Like there's the EDM world is huge, and this is really up to you creatively what you want to do. But I just want to show you what's going on so that you can kind of craft your direction where you want to go. So let's start with Liquid Stranger. This is at sunset in 2022.
You've arrived here at a critical moment. Take over the control. Spaceship.
Now those look pretty dope, right? Cool thing is a lot of these visual artists put assets up on Envato. So you're going to see some similar stuff. They obviously don't put the ones they use for Liquid Stranger up there, but they'll have, maybe their second best stuff. But this is what's going on here is there's a video playing in the background that a VJ is controlling. VJs are DJs for visuals. And what they do is they layer these things just like we layer tracks together. We blend tracks together. Or sounds when we're producing. So the VJs will craft an experience like the DJs craft an experience, but you have to provide them with some sort of direction that you want to go, or they don't know what your project is. So Liquid Stranger is obviously very trippy and very psychedelic, so this makes a lot of sense for him. The visuals are also amplified by the production on stage. The lasers and the lights have a lot to do with it as well, and they sync those up together to give you a very immersive experience. Let's go in here, though, because he gets really, really complex with his...
Hope you guys are doing amazing out there. Don't forget to drink. We're in Florida, and I am the Liquid Stranger. It's very fitting. I'm going to play my Mac Miller tribute here. Set the Bible.
I love him. Let's skip forward a little bit. So these are pretty complex, but it's a lot of, again, it's just layering. This is his logo. If you can't tell, it's his logo mirrored and kaleidoscoped and then duplicated and shot back into 3D space. So it looks like there's a lot more going on than there is, but it looks really cool. And I want to let you know that it's doable. It's not like these guys are any different than you. They started the same place as you. They started the same place as me, and they just got here by a lot of work. Hey, buddy, chill out. You're good. This is my dog, Harvard. So these are older visuals that he's used. I don't know if you've seen the Ascension mix, but it's pretty wild and pretty trippy. But as we get into the course, you're going to see that there's not a lot of... you can find these. You can find these visuals. You just got to curate them the way you want to curate them. So I made some similar ones like this in my video Blackout. I'll pull that up and I'll show that after this. Actually, I can show it right now. So that guy right there, those little lines that are going all over the place. It's not exact, but there is a similar one on. Let's see here if I have this guy. These are mine. And those are just layers. I did it again over here. That's just a layer of a background kaleidoscope, and then those moving lines in sacred geometry patterns. Those are layered on top of each other. It's no rocket science there. Let's move on to Slander. This is Slander at EDC Orlando, and they're using. Again, this also has to do with your production setup. If your screens are big and huge, you have stuff for that. If they're small and broken up, you have stuff for that. But they all work the same. They're all kind of similar. You just have your production team will know what to do with it when they use it. If you are an artist, if you're making this for artists, then you need to have that in your mind as well, that these are going to be used on multiple different screens. Obviously a lot of production here. Let's skip forward to some different visuals. Now, if you want to use anime and stuff, that's going to get kind of tricky with licensing. Slander has a huge audience, so they can probably pull licensing deals a lot easier than you could. Go to another one. It's this guy. Yeah, these are anime ones. But they just the anime ones, they're color tuning it to whatever the song is too. These 3D ones, you can find these 3D ones. You're obviously not going to get custom 3D ones from Envato. You're gonna have to request those, but you can request those on Fiverr as well. There's artists that'll do that for you and give you visual assets, custom visual assets that no one else has. But I'll show you how to find those as well. I'm talking about these highly detailed space flyover visuals. They're pretty dope. That's really cool. But see how they tune the colors and stuff? This footage may not necessarily be that blue, but since the lights in the production are that blue, the VJ tunes the color to that blue. Your production team does a lot with your work, so you just got to pick the right stuff. To pick the stuff for your project. Let's go to Immersive's music video Paradise with Fryer. This is simple as hell. I could find this and that. So this right here is a 3D foreground, and this is a layered fiber background. I say fiber, it's like a fabric particle. And then he's syncing up the hits on this here, sync up the kicks. These are probably custom, but you could make something similar to this easily. Wait for the drop. It looks visually cool. I'm sure he plays this at shows too. But these are the differentiators that you have. You have your logo visuals that have your name on it and stuff that are just for bars or smaller gigs. You have your music video that is your artistic vision for that specific song. And then you have kind of a blend of both that you give to a production team if you have a bigger show with backgrounds, layers, and your logo, and then they craft kind of a show for you because you don't know how to work these fucking screens, man. You got to provide them with the resources that they can use to give you the show, and that's what we're trying to build up here. We're trying to build a portfolio that you could just give somebody, say you get booked for a big show, and they're like, "Oh, do you have visuals?" Blah blah blah, and you're sitting there with your fucking, I don't want to say dick in your hand because there may be some females watching here, but you're gonna be sitting here wondering what the hell to do when you don't have visuals. So those are the different ones. You just gotta blend all of them, and they're all easy. They're all doable. You just gotta know which ones you need. That's just layers. Banger of a song. So this is literally a 3D volcano looking thing, a foreground retro tropical thing, and then a fiber wave particle net background. Just 3 layers. I mean, this is a pretty easy example because there's not a lot of blending and making it look smooth going on here, but we're not VFX artists. That is not the course. I'm showing you how to make visuals for your productions, for your shows. Let's look at Dr. Fresch. These are just motion graphics. That electricity may not even be his. VJ may have that. Super easy vortex flashing visuals. Flashy foreground lights. There's really not a lot going on in those. Let's switch to a different song. His are very simple. See, you don't have to get complex with it. You don't have to have like a full Rufus Du Sol 4K, experience, or a 3D Hollow Snails Eric Prydz show. These guys are like above and beyond right now, and like they're killing it. But they've done it for years. You just need what we want is some basic stuff to show venues, festivals possibly, that you are serious about being in the community, whether it's visuals or music. You want to have a layer of professionalism about you, that you know what you're talking about. This is just a particle foreground. It may not even be red. It's probably not red, because when the VJs tune the lights to the same color, it automatically color grades whatever footage you have to that scene. So like this has obviously got a lot of reds and yellows. The production team probably practiced this before. And then when it hits, they flip the color up like a fader, and then it colors the whatever footage is on the background the same color as the lights. These look cool. Let's try this. It's logo visuals, simple spiral, circle.
You know me, I always gotta bring it back. Look, this is some shit.
I can find all of these on Envato. Yeah. That one, flashing skull layered over a kaleidoscope-ish type background. Blended, maybe. With his logo over the top of it. Okay, I see it. It's like a spinning blade thing on the skull's eyeballs. Again, it's just another layer though, and they're doing a little zoom in, zoom out. If I were making these in Final Cut for a video, that would be, 4 clips. You need the logo, you need the skull, you need the spinning blades, and then probably a background. Like 4 things. Layer those. Simple. Yeah. Again, the production team, if you don't have a lot of assets, they have assets too. They'll throw in their stuff with your stuff, but you having your own custom visuals it really helps with your image. It really helps with your professional aura. So let's look at one more. Jaws back-to-back sudden death. This could be this dancing etheric angel thing, and then it's just mirrored 4 times, and then one more in the center, and then a particle background. Then they overlay it with some interference. It looks like a bad TV signal. That's a effect on. You can use that on Final Cut. Sudden death visuals are pretty intense. Like this back here, I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if the quality is all the way up. It is. So they got this barbed wire thing. I guarantee you if I go to Envato and type in barbed wire, I can find this. Barbed wire 3D. That is not stock video. Barbed wire 3D. Boom. Something similar to this. And I could download this asset right here. And then layer it over, what else does he have in the front here? So what they're doing here, if you can see this, they're just making little blurs here and there on the barbed wire, and then the foreground it looks like some heavy metal art, you know, the drawings with all the squigglies and thorns and shit. That's sudden death. There might be people flying through there. That's another layer. Let's just assume that it's flying people. Shit. Let's assume that it's flying people. Let's search this. Animated flying people. Video. This is what I was saying with the Slander visuals. Like these space visuals, they're not. Slander doesn't go in there and make these. There's visual artists that come in here and make these, and they do this. You know, they put it up here because they're making money off it, and you can put it together. I don't know if there's flying people necessarily in here, but there's flying birds, and these are alpha channels. So you just like put a bunch of these on there, and it'll layer it. Alpha channel just means like it's a PNG, like there's no background, and you can just put a bunch of them on there. But you get the concept here. I'm not trying to recreate their visuals exactly, but man, these are dope. Man, I could be Slander. Am I Slander? A lot of vortexy shit going on here. Like this is more Jaws, this 3D shit. Get out of here, bud, girl. Banger of a song. Alright. They're using a lot of sudden death visuals. Maybe Jaws gets in here on the back. Oh, that one's really easy. Show me what it is. Okay, that's a rotating Atlas statue. So let's do Atlas statue. And we can use real life footage too. You just have to make it 3D Atlas, maybe 3D Atlas. You gotta get creative with your searching because, you know, it's like Google. You gotta find it. 3D sculpture. Let's just say sculpture. See, these would be dope. This, I could make it out of this. Any of these 3D people. These are just, you can layer them. You just, you know, pop them on there. Like this one's already layered. Look at that. Layer. Show me the visuals. So, yeah. I hope that clarified some stuff and made things a little bit less mystical. Whenever you go to shows now, you're going to look at these things a lot differently. The magic might be gone, and I'm sorry for that. But this is how shows and production works, and we have to understand it if you want to progress in this. So I'll probably recreate a couple of them just to show you the layering. I'd like to do a basic layering and basic effects on that, using, this as kind of an example. So hope you got a lot from that, and I will see you in the next one.